Testing 1, 2, 3. How is my audio chat? Hopefully it's coming through okay. I'm bad at live streaming, and so there's always an amount of troubleshooting I need to do whenever I turn this on. We hear you. Yo, you sound fine. Sounds great. Awesome. Yeah, sometimes it's come through too quiet on these live streams, so glad to hear it. Well, good morning for those of you in the similar time zone as me. It's 2 years and 10,000 subscribers. When I first launched the YouTube channel, when I was prepping it with Tim the editor and Daniel, I had hoped for 500 subscribers after 1 year leading up to my Kickstarter. And I got like 500 subscribers in a month or something crazy like that. So it's been an experience. Yeah, good practice for Wednesday from Just Flocking with You. Yeah, the plan, I'm going to be on Just Flocking with You with some awesome folks on this Wednesday talking about monster design. That'll be really fun. Still coming down from Gen Con. No, my voice is still a little rough from Gen Con, but honestly, I recovered immediately from Gen Con. So we're going to do a couple things today on the stream. I'm going to hang out here for a couple hours. So for those that can't stay the whole time, it's understandable. And I'm rocking one of the new Tales from Elsewhere t-shirts. Yeah. We soft launched the website, the web store, with some t-shirts and some posters, and I'm actually going to show off some new merch that came in. Yeah, Daniel got the con crud. My con save succeeded. Elder Goblin Games. Hey, Jorban. Yeah, Daniel had to miss D&D night on Friday because he got the crud. Hey, there's Michael from Blue. I assume Michael, yeah, that's Michael from Blue Shiners RPG. Hey, buddy. All right, so what we're going to do today is I'm going to open up some boxes because I got some merch here and a mystery box from Daniel left in the TFE Fulfillment Center last night. And then I'm going to go through the bunch of AMA questions that we got in. Hey, Ugly Goblin. Hey, Gabriel. So I'm going to switch camera settings here. Let's see. All right, hand cam. We're going to do a Ben Milton Questing Beast impression here. I need to move my coffee. I've got some coffee here, but it's dangerously close to the box, so hold on. Oh, hey, Scrat. Hey, Dave. Hey, William. I'm just seeing lots of familiar faces. Hey, everybody. Hey, Mike Underwood. Glad to see you stop by here, my friend. Mike is awesome. I got a chance to talk to them at Gen Con all too briefly. And can you pop out the chat? Mike worked on Daggerheart and is working on further Daggerheart products and is super smart. And Salty Nick, can you pop out the chat? How do I pop out the chat? Grimwood Games, hey buddy. Or is it too small? Oh, hello, new faces as well. Not too familiar. Well, without further ado, this is the mystery box that Daniel, my co-dev on these projects, left for me. I honestly have no idea what this is, so we're gonna open it here. Peter so popular, ooh woo. Yeah, I don't know. What is this? Hold on. I don't know what the heck this is. Hold on, get this box out of the way. Oh, might need my scissors. Hold on. Need the scissors. It's something heavy. All right. Packages. Well, yeah, I keep an eye on my packages. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh. What the heck is this? I genuinely have no idea what this is. Oh, what? Hold on. I think Scrap might have been outdone with his paper one. What? Let's see. Hey, all right. It says, yo, congrats again. If you want to 3D print a TFE logo or something to put on here, it's safe to drill into for mounting, or you can throw the whole thing in the trash, your call. Hey, that's awesome. Is this a... Oh, whoa. This is awesome, dude. Oh my gosh. I was like, what did Daniel made me something? But no, it's Scrat. Oh man. This is awesome, dude. I'm overwhelmed with how cool this is. That's awesome. If y'all can actually see in the background, hold on. You were just the delivery man. Oh, okay, hold on. You can kind of see right here. I still have Scrat's cardboard one that he gave to me at last year's Gen Con. So now this can go with it. That's awesome, dude. Scrat, you're the best. That's so cool. That made my day. That's awesome. Yeah, my chopping board. I'm gonna cut vegetables on that. Yeah, that's so cool. See, this community's great. Like, I don't know if other parts of the internet are this wholesome, but I've found the TTRPG community and like the creative community to be just like super nice. And Scrat's the best. We missed you at Gen Con, Scrat. Your presence, the lack of your presence was felt. We'll have to correct that at future cons. I'm still not sure if I can make Page, but if you're going to Page, that's definitely tempting. Well, wow, that's awesome. That's so cool, dude. Yeah, I'll have to like get it engraved with like a TFE logo or something to do so. That's so cool. See ya, Jorban. Yeah. All right, we got one more thing. This is what I'm going to open next is something I know about already. This isn't secret. I think this will be better with this camera because it's more posters. Got in more posters that we're going to be selling on the website that I'm going to be using to decorate the TFE fulfillment center. But I always want to do test prints of everything before we sell them. Let's see. We got a set here. Because if you've looked at the web store, we have the map of the Ruination on there already, but we want more maps than that. Ooh. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Let's see what we got here. I think I'll have to hold these up with this cam, not the hand cam. Oh, heck yeah. We got a Blood Oiler one. That one looks sick. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, nice. We got old Adlac. Yeah. Got to make use of this awesome art we got, right? So. Oh, heck yeah. We got Temeki from the cover. Yeah, these are so good. So we'll be listing these on the website. Like I said, I like to test print everything before we list them to make sure that they look okay. So I'll give these a closer inspection before we put them up on the website. And if these end up selling decently well, like people like the posters, the nice thing is that we have commercial license on all of our artwork, and so we can just put them up there and sell them. And we're using, we use Printful to handle our, to handle these print-on-demand things so that we don't have to actually mail them out because that's a huge time sink. So what's really nice is that we can basically just put them up there and they auto-fulfill. Let me catch up on chat here for a moment. Old Adlac definitely want to buy. Old Adlac looks amazing. Yeah, we cite the artist on all of the posters too on the bottom right just to make sure that they get credited. Oh, it's the one I shared on the Discord. Oh, cool. Yeah. Oh, I remember you mentioning that. Yeah. My plan is kind of today I can catch up on chat for sure. Yeah, canvas prints. Hey, Sabrock, that'd be super cool. TFE artists are so good. Yeah, they're incredible. And I actually found another artist. I have just started chatting with him on Instagram. I shared his Instagram page in chat just the other day. But honestly, his stuff was so cool. I just want to work with him, maybe on like some zines or something. He just looks so rad. Oh yeah, the tornado warning. The tornado warning happened during an improv show I was watching. Like it was a Fiasco improv show, and it was really funny because the improvisers were so professional. They incorporated the repeating tornado warning into the show. Like they made it funny. It was so good. Rainmaker, just at me, like ping my name into wherever it is you originally shared it, like link it, in some way, and I can take a look later. Yeah, I can take a little look see. All right, well, there was some posters. They're awesome. I'm gonna be hanging these up maybe this weekend. I've already got frames for them to put up in the dungeon. The Dude Dungeon is the name that the TFE Fulfillment Center has historically been called. Yeah, the cast did a great job on Fiasco. So, well, those came out really good. I will talk about Gen Con. I've got some books that I picked up at Gen Con. There were some Gen Con AMA questions, so my plan is to kind of cover Gen Con more at that time. Yeah, Blue. Yeah, Michael. Like, fortunately, the locals, like people who are from the area, who are in the audience and around, they're like, "We're good. This is just to make sure you don't stand near the windows in case something breaks." But it was very safe. Have I ever considered reaching out to Displate? Displate, they're the ones that make the really nice prints, if I remember correctly, right? Honestly, one of the questions on here is about marketing and social media, and I'll talk about how bad I am at merchandising. Yeah, they would go so hard on a metal print. I should look into that, especially if there's decent print-on-demand options. I'm trying not to bog down my workload, because I still have my day job, right? I'm trying not to bog that down with fiddling with manufactured goods like merch. So I really am only attempting to use print-on-demand services for those kinds of things so that I'm not becoming a merch seller as like taking up all my time. Oh, okay. It took some iteration, says Mike. Gotcha. Anyway, that should be fun to look into, though. Okie dokie. And Dave, I saw you message just a little bit ago. Oh, is the chat too small for y'all to read when I do the other view? Is that kind of what you were saying, Dave? I can make the chat bigger for those watching. I figure like those who are watching can also see it in the YouTube per se, but I guess that's nice for rewatches. Hey, Piotr, yeah. Appreciate you, man. A high tide raises all ships. Well, let's hop into AMA because we got a ton of AMA questions, and some of them are going to make me rant for a while, I have a feeling. So let's see. I need to switch to this view. My video. Those of you who watch the channel will recognize my, Excalidraw board. Hey, Mr. Vincent. Thanks, buddy. So I basically have a stack of screenshots from the AMA channel, and I'm just gonna pop them in basically from the top of the stack as best I can. I think I got these mostly in order. So we got Wrong on Porpoise, who I got to hang out with at Gen Con, which was super cool. Games you wanted to try at Gen Con but didn't get a chance to play. Best games you played at Gen Con. So games I wanted to play, I really wanted to play a couple things. I wanted to play Pirate Borg, and I wanted to play, and I didn't get a chance to play. I wanted to play the game Jorb and the Elder Goblin's working on, Seven Delving Sins. Didn't get a chance to play that. Other than that, there weren't any specific games that I was hoping to play. I went to this Gen Con wanting to hang out, like interact with other game designers and YouTubers, and for that, it was highly successful. Yeah, Pirate Borg looked like so much fun. I've played Pirate Borg with Salty Nick, and it was super fun. And it just seems like a really fun thing to do in person, especially with Luke and the Limithron team being there. Best games you played at Gen Con. I didn't get to play a ton. I got to play Vaesen, though, that Stephanie Plays Games was the GM, with a bunch of really cool people. I was honestly a little starstruck at the table, and Vaesen was great. I was playing with Bone Wizard. I was playing with Ben Milton. I was playing with Baron Derop, Taryn Pounds, was playing with Crow, another YouTuber. I don't know if y'all are familiar with him. And Evan Diaz, creator of Nimble. And I feel like I'm blanking on one other person. It was a huge table. But that was an incredible table to be playing Vaesen at. I'd never played Vaesen before. I'd read the book, and I was so on board with it. And I was super excited to play Vaesen. I see Misty. TFE was the best game I played at Gen Con. Thanks, Misty. Misty was at one of my tables. She's awesome. She's another YouTuber for those who don't know. Yeah, we had tons of fun playing TFE or running TFE with folks this year. We didn't run as many games. But honestly, it would be great to do... Gen Con needs to be twice as long so that I could spend a whole Gen Con doing all this networking and hanging out in person with people, and a whole nother Gen Con where I just do nothing but play games. That would be great. All right, let's see what's next on the stack here. On the Gen Con topic, you presumably looked at a whole lot of games there. When you're investigating a new RPG, what are you looking for? How do you read through whatever sample or marketing materials you get to see if you'll like the game? This is where a game's cover makes a huge difference to me. As I'm walking down Gen Con's packed exhibit hall, I keep an eye out for covers or titles of games that really catch my eye. But when I'm investigating an RPG, okay, there's I've talked about this kind of concept before, but there's two things that I look for in an RPG, and this is how you sell it. It's the vibe and the promise. So the vibe of a game is its artwork and like the aesthetic of its layout and like that general vibe, right? Like that's what most people immediately attach to. The promise is, what is the promised gameplay experience it's going to provide, and how is that interesting? So those are the two things that really jump out. So there's a game that I was aware of here. I'm going to switch. Let's switch screens here and rotate around. This guy. Okay. So when I was walking down the hall, I was talking to Jeremiah of 1985 Games. We were hanging out, and we stopped by the Wet Ink Games booth. And I remember when this game got crowdfunded, and then I kind of forgot about it. But I was walking, and this cover with art by Charles Ferguson Avery, who works on Peasantry as well, immediately caught my eye. Look at this title. Look at this aesthetic. I see World War I. I see weirdness, and it's called Never Going Home. And I'm like, sign me the heck up. And when Jeremiah was talking about it, he was telling me that like it is a game where the assumption is no one will survive. It's a cursed Lovecraftian World War I bleak narrative game. And I'm like, just how can I not pick this up? Especially with Charles Ferguson Avery as the artist. He's one of my favorite working TTRPG artists right now. Like his stuff is just incredible. And the book is now, okay, that got me to buy it. I mentioned this before in Discord. This book's layout is horrible. And I say that as somebody who's actually, I fell in love with this rule system as I read it on the plane. Like, I really like this game. This layout is pretty awful. And so this would immediately turn me off from actually purchasing it were I not like really interested in how good the vibe and the promise of this gameplay was. The art is great, but the layout is not great, I will say. It's hard to read. The way the rules are presented is hard to parse. But this isn't a review of the game. Awesome game, though. Like, what a cool engine. I'm, like, super on board with that. I really want to run this game. This game looks really cool. So that vibe and promise of this bleak World War I game, like, sign me up. Sign me immediately up, right? So that's really catchy. This is where, like, titles and all that really go a long way. I have very, like, niche tastes in general. Like, certain things really get me excited. So when it's something like that, it's pretty easy. I also picked up... This is a game I was already very aware of. I picked up Coyote and Crow, which, you know, awesome title. But I was already, like, highly aware of this game and just kind of waiting for a good opportunity to pick it up. So picking it up in person from, I think it was at Indie Press. Indie Press Revolution was super cool. What an awesome game. Haven't actually sat down to read it yet. The thing is enormous. I had to, put it in my suitcase. Couldn't have it on the plane to read because it's like 500 pages. It's chunky, but it's awesome. Like, this is exactly my jam. Super cool stuff. So switching back to demo, let's switch over here. So to kind of answer that, it's really important to put your best foot forward with your game. Like, what are the punchy, like, what is the punchy, awesome vibe that you can sell immediately to somebody looking at the game? I often don't get a chance to really read anything sample-wise before I pick it up when I'm out at a convention. But online, I take a look at a demo packet or a free sample before I purchase to see if the mechanics of the game are interesting. I need something with interesting mechanics to really hook me in. Oh, you're noticeably quieter in the drawing view when you face away from... Oh, yeah. That's my... Right. I need to keep a... I need to, talk into the mic. Let's see. Yeah, the text size... The text size is big in Coyote and Crow. It's just like a heavy book. So, anyway, yeah, you want to put your best foot forward with your game, and for me, I like mechanically interesting concepts. If the vibe is really cool and it's my kind of jam, but then I take a look at the quick start and it's like, no offense, just based off D&D 5e, I'm not going to find that mechanically interesting. It hurts my excitement. I play a lot of D&D 5e still, but I'm not looking for more of that, right? So Never Going Home has a really interesting playing card mechanic. The playing cards represent not only your experience, but your memories and parts of yourself that the war is taking from you. It's awesome. So I thought that mechanically was very interesting. Or I was flipping through Father Fog, which really cool looking, right, from the Mothership devs from Tuesday Night Games. But also mechanically, it was basically the same as Mothership. I wasn't getting super excited about the mechanics of it. But I mean, that foundation is solid. It's just trodden ground for me. And so study material wise, it wasn't getting the juices flowing. You play it begrudgingly, not excitedly. I always have a ton of fun at D&D night, but that's because it's my boys. It's my group that I've been with for 15 years. Anyway, let's see here. Do you attend local cons? Pre-pandemic, I attended Strategicon, which is a Los Angeles-based one, over and over. They're 3 times a year, and I'd go 3 times a year. But I was really into Adventure League back then, the big organized play for D&D. I will plan on... doing more cons again, and even doing vendor stuff at my local cons because I can just drive to it once I have my books. All right, let's go to the next AMA question. What's left to do before TFE Clockworld? Oh, I'm on the wrong thing. What's left to do before TFE Clockworld is completed? What is the current timeline looking like, and how do you plan to celebrate once it's done? So Clockworld, all that's left is layout and the final edit pass. All artwork is in. So all artwork is in. Just our layout designer, who is awesome. She's working through it. And once that's done, we'll do our final internal edit passes, and it'll go off to the printer. So it's very soon. It is worth noting we will be slightly behind schedule. I guess this is my first official mention of this. I'll be doing a backer update to elaborate. We will probably be about 1 to 1.5 months off the original promised window. We had promised September. It's going to probably be late October. Probably. Just layout is taking a little longer. Small delay. We're not talking 6 months out or something. It's small layout delay. It's cool, right? Measure twice, cut once. We don't want to rush the layout. We want it to be really nice. I knew it. TFE was a scam. We're taking our time with the layout. A big part of the reason the layout is taking a little while is a lot of the sections have what we would say is a bespoke layout, that serves that section. So it's not just every section is laid out the exact same way. The layout is meant to serve the utility of that chapter. So within that section, things are laid out intuitively. So when you need to look for something in that section, it's easier to get. But that's not the same answer for every chapter, right? So it's not just one big layout. Let me just catch up on chat here really quick. Coyote and Crow. Yeah, I haven't looked at my mechanics of Coyote and Crow yet. So we will see. Will Mythicon? Won't be going to Mythicon. I knew it. TFE was a scam. Flips table. I forget. Will Kickstarters get a PDF as well as the physical? Yeah. If you did a physical tier, you will be getting the final PDF as well. Any physical tier comes with the PDF. And for those that did back at any PDF or higher tier, you can The beta PDF is available on there. There's a post that has it. Should you want to see, like, that is mechanically identical to what the final will be. There's just a bunch of edit passes and balance passes on it. It's like the game is like done, right? We're just making sure the book looks good. We went into the Kickstarter with like a 85% complete game. Like, we were like ready to rock. So anyway, plans to celebrate. Oh, I don't know. I will celebrate by making more products. Let's see. Oh, we got a multi-parter here from Zeke. All right, let's see here. Why did you start with cowboys? Because I love Westerns. It's as simple as that. I love Weird West. And there's not a ton of them out there. How do you start your setting design process? I start by immersion in media related to that setting. So reading books, watching movies, playing games. I was already ingesting tons of Westerns before working on Clockworld, but I always ingest tons of Westerns. So for Medieval Madness, which is the next major setting book, I'm reading lots of books and watching lots of movies. How much of the game is based on previous campaigns you ran in other systems? Very little. I draw on monster design from other campaigns. Like the Shrike was a monster I made for a D&D campaign in a homebrew world. But honestly, no, I tend to make them fully original for the system. And as I'm working on that, I run a campaign of it for my friends. Do you anticipate a strong homebrew community? Was that in mind when designing it? It was not in mind when I was designing it initially because I didn't think anybody would care. You know, when you're first making a game, I anticipate there's already people homebrewing for my game, and they're making super cool stuff. I don't have it at hand, but like William made an awesome trifold adventure, for example, and I know some people are working on other stuff. And like Red Richard, the man, the myth, the legend himself, is like already working on his own expansion to Clockworld. I'm really hoping people jump on it. And when we talk a little bit about game jams a little bit later on the live stream, I'll talk more about my plans on how to facilitate that for the community. What do you hate most about the game? Hate most about the game that is not done yet? More seriously, maybe, like, I hate nothing about the mechanics of my game. I'm sad, not sad. There's a version of the Clockworld book that would be even more awesome than the one we're getting. That's if I had double the money, right? Like where I could go even more nuts on the artwork. So there's like this version of the book that would be even more incredible because our artists are awesome, but there's time and money limitations. So I don't hate anything about my game. Is there anything you feel is missing that you couldn't add with a supplement later for some reason? So like the Clockworld book is the scope that I want for a product for me. Where like what I've left open-ended and up to GM adjudication is based on my preference on the kind of stuff that I generally just leave up to like adventure design or GM adjudication. But there's a lot of subsystems I'd like to explore separately. But really, there's nothing off the table that won't be in like a zine or a trifold. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. Well, any interesting analytics about your channel and its audience? Oh, it's like, you know, all dudes. Right? It's like mostly dudes, American dudes. But that's like YouTube in general. I mean, I don't think there's anything that revelatory about my channel, except that really my community, this community, is not enormous, but it's small and dedicated and supportive, and that's honestly perfect. You know, if I had 10 times the number of YouTube subscribers, but none of them were none of them were like engaging with the stream or hanging out in the Discord and sharing their work, coming and playing in all the TFE sessions, like then that wouldn't be a success. Like, okay, for comparison, yeah, like I'm not the biggest YouTuber, but I'm doing great. But a mark of success for me is the fact that in August, this month, I think there are 17 TFE sessions being run in the Discord server, and none of those are me. Or, like, none of those are the dev team. Like, that's the community running games, and that is incredible. And yeah, I saw somebody asking if we're going to take AMA questions from the stream here. There will be a time where I will. If you want them answered, though, and you have an idea now, put them in the Discord server's AMA, because I'm not going to be able to find them when I scroll back up, because we'll be going through these for a while. But like, I'm not the best YouTuber to study about YouTube success if like YouTube success is your goal. Just to like answer that kind of like bottom question here. I'm doing great, don't get me wrong, but like I'm not a YouTuber like by trade, I guess you could say. Oh, another one from Zeke. Will you do game reviews from a designer perspective on what makes them work or not work? And then favorite snack while GMing. So I have been thinking a lot about doing flip throughs and reviews from a game mechanics analytics standpoint. It's a time issue for me. There's a version of this channel, like the Tales from Elsewhere, the content creator entity, where I do a lot more things like that. I would need to have but I don't have time with a day job. So like if the TFE business model ends up being such that I could cut back on my day job hours, I could potentially start doing that. And I would likely do them as a live stream, potentially, right? Like I would do them live, flip through and analyze the mechanics live with the community and see what lessons we can extract. The closest thing to that would be my learning from YouTube videos, which I do want to make more of. I think I'm going to do one on Never Going Home, where I take a game and I don't review it, but I extract one lesson from it. Favorite snack while GMing? I really like, we call them chill stachios. Chilled pistachios are one of my favorite snacks while I'm GMing. But I don't snack super hard while I GM. I eat a nice big meal, and then I'm usually good to go. Oh, hey, Frank. Just catching up here. Yeah, every designer hopes that others play their game and enjoy it. Like, that's the biggest win. Like, people are playing it and enjoying it. It's incredible. A general timeline of the next 4 quarters would be cool. All right. Okay, hold on, y'all. Hold on, let me get something ready for you. I am in prep mode. Vacation's over for Peter, and it's going to be time to really get going. So I think I can show you. Let me see here. Oh, I'll have to like screenshot it. So hold on. Apologize, I fiddle with things here. Too many screens. Let's close that. Okay. So general timeline. We got a screenshot here. Yeah, I don't want to zoom in like that. I'm messing up the stream immediately. Okay. So I have a lot of products that are in the ideation and drafting stage. The next year is going to primarily focus on a couple things. Preparation of Medieval Madness, support for Clock World in the form of zines and trifolds, and I'm going to call them secondary RPG-related products. And the exact timeline isn't super set in stone on these, but every quarter we'll see a decently substantive release from us, whether that be a few trifolds, a built-out zine, and so forth. Included in that timeline is the Patreon. Patrons will be getting really early access to my Medieval Madness mechanical tests. Then the general populace of the Discord server will get access, and so forth. But I'm going to be basically releasing pieces of Medieval Madness on the Patreon for folks to play around with and read as I iterate on it. So you'll be seeing that a lot. But I've got a lot of, I got a lot of game ideas here. A lot of zines, a lot of trifolds, and some other game stuff. I've even potentially going to be doing some D&D adventure writing for another large creator here and there. Potentially, I can't really announce anything about that, but I'll let you all know when that comes up. Just a cool connect that I made at Gen Con. But for launch, they'll be getting the 5 trifolds in total will be ready for launch as well. So there's going to be a lot going on. There's going to be lots. I'll probably talk through my different game ideas and zine ideas in a little bit when I talk more about support in general, like TFE post-launch support. Oh, just GM Josh just making a joke about did you get the thing I sent you? Oh, let me catch up on chat here. Hey, where's the oatmeal? I ate my oatmeal pre-stream. It was oatmeal pancakes today. Wrong. I once ate so many pistachios. Oh, I realize I don't have my chat up on this one. Oh, hold on, y'all. I can fix that. Oh, wait, where's the thing? Hold on. Realize chat isn't up on here. I can copy it, I think. Stream chat copy. Paste. Okay, that roughly works. Okay, roughly worked. Yeah, I'm in tech. I use a Kanban board. It's how I've got so many projects. It's the only way I can stay organized. All right, from William. How was growing and managing your community? How has growing and managing community changed over time as the numbers on Discord? As the numbers of Discord have grown, have you transitioned from making videos to working on the finishing game? Shift to more playtesting, etc., etc. Oh, that's slightly cut off because of that. So this is a good question about community building. So a lot of you may know I give this one really particular bit of advice for building a Discord community. And that is be your ideal community member at first. So when I first launched the Discord community, a big part of that was me being super active, like in voice chat all the time, in the conversation, starting my own designer chats, running a ton of games myself, because that's the kind of community member I wanted to see in the server itself. And so by doing that really hard, like burnout mode hard, I set a precedent for the community. And then as the community grew and we're at like almost 1,200 members, I was able to pull back a bit and manage and participate here and there, but not be so aggressively involved, burning myself out a little too much. So that's something that's definitely changed. Now, when I launched the Discord community, my game was already done, basically. Lots of little edits, lots of, tweaking of little things and balance. But like when I did open play testing like that, I was not anticipating any mechanical changes at that point. Like my game's good to go. I had done just so much testing and iteration before then. I was never in like the playtesting mode was like playtesting for balance, Yeah, oatmeal pancakes. I need to eat heart healthy things in general. I eat pretty healthy, and like oatmeal and oatmeal based things are yummy and good for the heart. So this will be to keep going on this question, William. So when working on Medieval Madness, the plan will be to be more community involved with that playtesting because the community will be so big, I'm assuming, post-launch, that there'll be a lot of folks who could help test it out. Zeke asks, why do you scream at night? I have insomnia, but I don't scream. The things that make me wake up and make a noise from a nightmare would be things related to bugs. I have very strong insectophobia and arachnophobia. Okay, what is your favorite horror movie for the... Ooh, all right, 80s, 90s, aughts, and 10s. Well, okay, Alien is 79, which sucks because I can't then put that as an answer on this question. So, okay, from the 80s, since Predator is action horror and in the 80s, I might have to go with that one. The 90s, my answer for the 90s is going to be Scream. Actually, the first Scream movie is so... Oh, The Thing is 82. Good call, Isaac. Okay, The Thing for the 80s. One of my favorite horror movies of all time. One of my favorite movies of all time. So, yeah, in the 90s, I'm going to go with Scream because Scream is properly subversive. Like, before subversive horror was, like, really catching on, I don't know, Scream is, like, legit. I love it. For the aughts, probably Ravenous, one of my also all-time favorite movies. I think that's like 2005 or something. I forget the year. 2010s, I honestly couldn't tell you any horror movies that came out in the 10s. I just honestly don't remember what happened in that era. The 2010s were like Peter's like fresh out of college, starting his work. Oh, Ravenous is 1999. Okay, I love Ravenous. I honestly couldn't tell you horror movies from the 10s. I wasn't watching a ton of horror then. I got back into horror more in the 2020s, like watching horror once again. I've never actually seen Hereditary. believe it or not. Oh, Cabin in the Woods is 2010s. Okay, I loved Cabin in the Woods. That's again, okay, a proper parody or like subversive film is also a good version of that film. Oh, was Tucker and Dale versus Evil in the 2010s? That's also one of my favorites. I actually didn't care for Saw. The Witch is 2010s. Okay, well, yeah, y'all are okay. Well, then, yeah, there's lots of great movies in the 2010s. I stand correct. I just couldn't remember what year they're in. Like anything that's after the year 2000, I struggle to like place in a time period. Like after college, I'm toast. Yeah, Tucker and Dale versus Evil is so good. All right, I could talk for too long about those movies. We're gonna keep going. Okay, so this is the question that Hugh asked that I inadvertently started answering in the AMA chat because I got too excited. In a battle royale over the counties, what faction would emerge victorious? This is talking about the counties in Clockworld. Okay, there's a lot of factions in Clockworld. Okay, so we've got like all these different communities, but then like factions, you have things like the Cult of Exodus, the Gleaners, the 100 Blue, the Church of Ashes, right? Those are some of your big factions. I think the Cult of Exodus would win simply because they have sleeper agents all over the world, like all over the counties. They have the command of various horrors and they're one of the few factions that is literally headed up by a wolf in sheep's clothing, which gives them a huge edge. So I think that the Cult of Exodus, because they have agents in all the other factions, is probably the one that's going to win. That's if the players don't stop them, right? Like I think the Cult of Exodus is like the big bads. Those gosh darn wolves cheat. Yep, that they do. So yeah, my vote is going to be for the cult. The Gleaners are a faction where if they like rallied together rather than had all that infighting, would be a terrifying force just because of the numbers and discipline. 100 Blue don't stand a chance, I think. They're too much of a shadow of what they once were pre-Calamity. Why haven't you included, from Dave, why haven't you included the Apple Dumpling Gang in Clockworld? This is a reference that I think a lot of folks in this chat are going to be too young for. But Google Apple Dumpling Gang. Also from Dave, start selling used horses. Are all horses kind of used as they have to be broken? Anyway, these are just memes from the server. We got the wearing wigs gag. Okay, we'll go past the memes on this one. What made you decide on making your games work together? Now that Clockworld is basically done, which setting you're most excited to create? Also, mech game when? So my original version of the Tales from Elsewhere rule system was not for multiple settings. It was just for Clockworld. But as I was working on it, I realized how this would work really well for other settings as well. Like, this is my kind of rule system that I would like to run. And years ago, we actually did early Medieval Madness playtesting already, like to see how it would feel, and it felt great. It was super cool. As I catch up on chat really quick here. You want that new horse smell? Yeah, that's true. The horse on the cover is really used. Very true. So, once I started working on it more heavily, I still was trying to only make decisions for the mechanics that served Clockworld, but without any real modification, it would just work super well for a bunch of other games. Once I built it, I was really excited about it. Which are you most excited to create? I am most excited to create all the different settings. Like Daniel knows all too well, like I get distracted and I start thinking about all these other settings and mechanics, including a mech game, because mechs are rad. But Medieval Madness is the one that I'm pretty darn excited for. And that's why that's going to be the next one. I love medieval horror, and so that's going to be super cool to do. Mech game one. I honestly don't know when I'll build a mech game. Honestly, I don't know if a mecha setting book would justify the 400-page version like my setting books are going to be. That one might be a smaller like A5 or Zine. Like that might be a side project rather than a full built-out rule system. I'm unsure. Like adding mecha rules into any other game you want, but not like building out a whole world for it. I don't play favorites with my settings. They're all my favorites. You're my favorite, Medieval Madness. That's really funny. All right. Okay. The real question is, will it be the old logo or the new one? New logo for life. I love the new logo. Who and what are the wolves based on? Wolves in sheep's clothing from Clockworld. Did anything significantly influence you during their creation? So, the wolves in sheep clothing are primarily inspired by The Thing, the movie The Thing. Insidious shapeshifters that can take on anybody's form. I love like shapeshifter threats. I think they're really fun. So that was a huge inspiration. Was literally just the movie The Thing. I wanted a The Thing like threat, and I didn't want it to just be a basic shapeshifter, and so they ended up becoming people, like the villains. I thought of them as villains first, monsters second, and that's what really shaped their creation. I think that about sums it up. Oh, we were joking about if I get 100,000 subscribers, I get a TFE logo. It's got to be a tramp stamp, right? TFE logo as a tattoo. It'd probably be like a shoulder or like a bicep one or something. That's probably what I'll do. If TFE, I was joking that like if we get 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, I'll get a TFE logo tattoo. If TFE could be done as any media type you like, movie, show, play, comic, whatever, what would you like to see it done as? I think an animated show would be really cool. Live action has a lot of like limitations, I'd say, when it comes to getting extra weird with it. So like an animated show would be awesome. It's easier to really get gnarly with the horror when you do animated as well. But I think a serialized anthology show about stories taking place across the Ruination would be so flippin' cool. The Four Horsemen did not have an influence actually on the wolves in sheep's clothing. So the Four Horsemen, super quick side rant. The Four Horsemen are iconic in like Western culture, right? But thematically, they're not that exciting to me. It's war, conquest, famine, and death. And like that set of four just like doesn't do it for me, I guess you could say. It's like in Medieval Madness, there's going to be Four Horsemen-esque threats, kind of like the wolves in sheep's clothing, but they're not going to map to the Four Horsemen. So like, like the Four Horsemen are like iconic, but that set of four concepts doesn't like do it for me, I guess you could say, from like a narrative standpoint. But we're not going to like narratively examine the New Testament on this stream, the Book of Revelation or something. Anyway, okay. William asks, how's the magic system work for Medieval Madness? All right, y'all. Okay. I will give you, people have asked a lot about how the magic system's going to work. And against my better judgment, I am going to give you the rough pitch on the internal test version of the magic system in Medieval Madness. Please understand. I think this system is maybe not good, and I think it's going to playtest horribly. I'm going to have to redo it. But I will be playtesting it to make sure. Okay. I'm going to draw it for you. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Let me grab some stuff. Y'all have convinced me. I'm grabbing stuff on my other screen here. Hold on. Just because y'all are great and I have 10,000 subscribers now, we're going to go through it. And because I need literally images to do so. Oh boy, here we go. Yep. All right. So, I'm going to regret this. I just know it. I'm going to regret it. So, this isn't even the first version of Medieval Madness Magic that I've created. Ignore the outer ring for a moment. Okay. Imagine that the mind skills in TFE are, so we have Acuity, Guile, Discipline, and Bravado. These create a prism of design where the connections between each represent different concepts of magic. So acuity and bravado together are seasonal magic, while discipline and bravado magic, that connection is sacred. And while guile and discipline is profane magic. The idea is that any one of these types of spells you can use either skill for. Sacred magic can be cast with either bravado or discipline. Profane magic, either guile or discipline. Oracle magic would be acuity or discipline, and so on. That's simply to make magic thematically kind of interesting and interconnected. And also, it is an in-fiction concept known as the prism, as people, since ancient times within that setting, have understood the concept of magic. And so, like, within those cultures, you'd see, like, old runic carvings, right, showing the prism, like, you know what I mean? Like, you'll see it represented in cultures as they understand the magical constructs. Oh yeah, Isaac, when I was doing that video on Daggerheart and its domains, this was already in my mind. So that conceptually is magic. Now the way it plays, now I love that concept, but the way it plays is kind of funny. All right. So y'all know my injury tracker. Okay, imagine an injury tracker, right? Where we have injury slots and they fill in until you're dead. Right? In the bottom one, you're dead, let's just say. Now, imagine that magic isn't like, I cast magic missile, I shoot a fireball. Magic is literally conjuring a spell, a magical presence you have to create and control that does not wish to be controlled. Right? Magic needs to be dangerous in a TFE setting. So the casting a spell is to bring magic into existence and attempt to control it. When you cast, you make a skill test. And, a spell has a rank. And if you succeed, you roll a spell cast, like, what did I call it? Like a cast roll. It's an injury roll. And depending on how severe, how good an injury roll you get, like a 1 is critical, a 2 or 3 is serious, you basically get the effect that would be in these boxes. So the more effective it would be, so like let's say you get a serious result and you're trying to control the weather. The serious tier result says that you cause it to rain lightly and ranged attacks might be more difficult, right? And you continue to maintain the spell. You've got the spell and you're holding on to it. And as you can maintain control of this spell, you've starting to control the weather. You roll again. Maybe you get another serious result. You continue to maintain controlling the weather. If you got another serious result again, you now get the critical result. Now a lightning bolt strikes somebody, right, and damages them or whatever, right, causes an injury. And if you can complete the spell ends and a huge effect occurs. But just like with injury dice, you can skip ahead with a particularly good roll. Like, if you get a 1, then you automatically get the lightning bolt version and maintain control of the spell. You could also, attempt the ace to make it vulnerable to try to complete the spell in a single cast. Yeah, magic roll in DCC. So with a really dedicated character who's built their spec, just like the dedicated sniper in Clockworld, you can one-shot a spell. There's risk, though. When you fail to cast a spell, it doesn't go away. It becomes uncontrolled. And you get torn apart by the spell in some way. You don't get control over it. The GM takes control and starts zapping your friends with it. And you literally have to roll to try to get control of the spell again to continue. So there's inherent risk in attempting to wield magic. They're more like rituals than they are, I cast a spell. You can also do a cast roll to take control of other people's active spells. and they can use a reaction to like spell duel and hold on to it. To end a spell prematurely, you can't just stop concentrating. You have to roll a successful test to collapse the spell and stop it, lest it become uncontrolled. So I have a feeling this guy likes his injuries, just a hunch. Yeah. So they're very involved. As an example, where's my other screen? I've got don't worry, y'all. I've got like a ton of spell iterations like that I've been working on here. So let me grab one. These are so complex, y'all. Like, forgive me. Like, again, a spell doesn't just do one thing. The spell is a concept that gives you a precedent of examples of what you can do, but you'd be free to, improvise more with it. So, don't worry about how complicated this is. I know it's too much. But a spell does a lot. It's not one thing. So the profane spell called Rot allows you to manipulate corpses. And the three options that it provides here are just, the example: to putrefy a corpse, to puppet a corpse, or to pop a corpse. And as you cast, you build out each time you cast which option you'd like to do. So you could puppet a corpse to walk it over into the enemy camp and then putrefy it so it spreads disease. Additionally, all spells have requirements to them that aren't you don't hand wave the requirement with a spell component pouch. So, for example, with a Rot spell, you must have a corpse, obviously. But some spells were you must keep both hands placed on the ground. Or another one is you must keep your eyes closed to maintain the spell. Certain things will make the spell resistant or vulnerable to being cast. So if you cast Rot while on hallowed ground, your spell roll it's resistant to it, so you downgrade the result. So basically it means if you roll poorly, you can always build up to a bigger one. Anyway, and there's a benefit you get while controlling the spell. While you're in control of a Rot spell, you sense all corpses within 1 mile of you. If you the backlash of the Rot spell is you start getting sick, and if you get exhausted from this as it strains you, you catch the plague. So super gnarly stuff, right? Very complicated. You would get these by taking specific edges that let you pick a spell. These would be separate from supernatural edges like there are in Clockworld that let you do a single powerful thing, like Bewitching Voice, Between Worlds. Those would still exist. But magic is its own subsystem. Very complex. I've built out this whole draft. I need to run a test. Anyway, it's very involved, and all the spells are very bespoke and interesting. And you can try to make them bigger, right, by making the rank harder. So the Rot spell is master rank, but if you want to expand its effect, you can make it extraordinary rank. It makes it harder to cast. Anyway, so it's really cool. But I have a feeling it's not going to play super well. I have a gut feeling that it's going to be too procedural to feel dynamic in a fight. But I'm not giving up on it. I'll be doing some play testing. I'll probably release the full play test draft of this on Patreon for those that want to mess with it. But it's super cool. I've written 10 spells or something already. But each spell is 3 spells. Anyway, so that's Medieval Magic system. And your implement, just like a weapon, controls the size of your injury dice for casting spells and have other benefits. And every edge that gives you access to a spell gives you an additional benefit. So for example, just before I totally switch gears because I just got real excited. So let's see. For example, there's a spell called an edge I wrote called Sanguimancy. You learn any spell when you take the edge, but it also lets you use knives as your implement to cast with, and it lets you hurt yourself to empower your spells. It's another one. There's one called Malediction. You learn a profane spell, and your spells ignore immunity to things that are immune to agonized or frightened. Like you can agonize and frighten anything with your spells, even if they would normally be immune. So that's kind of the rough structure that it's going to be. Anyway, so it does sound really cool, but might be too complicated. But sounds cool, right? Like the cool factor of it, undeniable. But when when we hit like the pavement, like we'll see in the trenches, as it were, if it actually feels good. Okay, how have you updated combat to make Melee more interesting? There's going to be a lot more edges that mess with combat style. A lot of combat style stuff in edges. Distribute third-party modules. I would love to publish third-party modules. A lot of that kind of stuff is going to be entirely dependent on how much post-Kickstarter money we make from selling books and other media. I want to do so much. I want to like work with the community. I want to publish my friends' works. I want to do all these things, but we'll see where the money is. What's your biggest lesson you've learned from making the final rulebook for Clockworld? Don't, for a book that's 400 pages, do not work in the editor, like in InDesign, doing major revisions and implementation, and then have to extract it again for your layout designer. Think about what the next step is going to be. I gave myself so much extra work. It was awful. Yeah, so I just see a lot of thanks everybody for like your positive words about that Magic draft. Right, it's neat. The idea is that it requires a lot of commitment to be a Magic user and danger because your spells can kill you. All right, next question. Your favorite non-oat based food? All right, there's a much easier one. Pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie is my favorite thing to eat in general. Other than that, I love a good burger. Like I love a good burger so much, like a really well done burger, not like a fast food burger, like a nice burger with some good fries and like a nice glass of whiskey with it or something, right? Or like a cider. That's sweet. But I love oatmeal. I love oat based things. All right, what we got here next? Ooh, what was your favorite story as a child, teen, and adult? Child, like as a very little child, I loved Peter Rabbit because my name's Peter. When I got to middle school, I really loved the book Hatchet. That was really big for me, as a lot of like 10-year-old boys probably do, right? Who like the outdoors. Teen, big thing for me in my teens was Lord of the Rings and Dune. Those were huge for me in my reading as a teen. Pumpkin spice and hamburger helper in your oatmeal. I actually don't like pumpkin spice. Pumpkin spice is mostly sugar. Favorite story as an adult? That's tricky. Blood Meridian is one of the few books I've read more than once. It's very rare for me. Book of the New Sun might be one of my favorite book series of all time as an adult. I tried reading it as a teen and it went over my head. I came back as an adult and it was much better. Yeah, so I read a lot of books now, so now it'd be tough. I'm always reading new. I just finished Buffalo Hunter x Hunter and it was excellent. Highly recommend. Hatchet kind of scared me when we read it in school. Yeah, I mean, like it was intense. I loved it though. Like I felt like it was a book that I was excited to read. Oh, Watcher DM, thanks, buddy, for the congrats. Means a lot. Thanks, Basic Yeti. Yeah. Thanks, y'all, for your congrats. Who is your favorite artist for getting inspired for Weird West stuff? The artists I work with. But like, just really quick on that one. The authors, Cormac McCarthy and Louis L'Amour, are big for inspiration, and more recently, Stephen Graham Jones and Nathan Hawke have been huge. No, not Nathan Hawke. What's his name? Is it Nathan Hawke? Stephen Graham Jones, mainly. Oh, I'm being DM'd by Daniel. Sorry, I got a million things open. Oh, you're collecting them there. Thank you. Okay, I'll come back to that then. Oh, Cyberrock, I saw your drawing there. That looks rad. I love a good drawing. So we'll all right, I gotta stay focused. Will Medieval Madness include dragons like Falkor, which is a luck dragon? No. No, dragons are going to be something horrifying, honestly, and disturbing and evil in that world. Haven't settled on that exactly yet. I loved Neverending Story as a kid, though. Never read the book. Loved the movie. Oh, High Plains Drifter vibes. Yeah, High Plains Drifter is kind of Weird West, right? Like, for those that know High Plains Drifter, that's the one where he's the preacher kind of come back from the dead, right? Am I getting these mixed up? I think I have that right. Sometimes the titles of the movies get mixed up in my brain. Unsure on Dragons, though. They got to be in there. Okay, yeah, it is. Thank you. I just haven't found the right visual language or like horror language for them yet. If you could magically switch the popularity of D&D with another TTRPG, not yours, I see you, what would it be? All right, Acknell. All right, y'all. Oh, that's Pale Rider. Oh, thank you. Oh, Pale Rider is the one that's almost Weird West. I'm forgetting which one High Plains Drifter is. I've seen all of his movies, and they're just scrambled. So anyway, okay. The troll in me wants to choose Marvel Universe role-playing game, that awful one that I talk a lot about. I just want everybody to be obsessed with this terrible superhero role-playing game. But a more serious answer, maybe being like, if Forged in the Dark was the biggest structure that people talked about, I think that would actually be really cool. I think we'd see, Forged in the Dark gets used a lot, sure. But I think that if there was a ton of attention on that rule structure, we'd have a really interesting set of games. I prefer Forged in the Dark over pure PBTA, personally, as far as like rule structure goes, but that's a little bit of a nuanced take. But you know what? Like, I'm fine with D&D being the most popular game. Like, it's fine. Honestly, like, it doesn't matter to me what the biggest game is. As long as there are people out there that are interested, like a small percentage of people that are interested in indie stuff, that's fine. Like, whatever. What's the best Ancestry plus class combo, and why is it Human Fighter? Dustagon, you know me. I'm a default settings human fighter, sword and shield kind of guy sometimes. I actually do love, I love that. I like the ordinary guy. So when I first started playing TTRPGs almost 30 years ago, I was more like into being super heroic or like really badass. But now I'm like, I just want to be some dude who's just trying to make it in the world and tell that story, not necessarily of their success, but of their trying and maybe failing. That's become really interesting to me. So like the weird species and like super powerful magic stuff, it's becoming less interesting to me as the everyman. I like the everyman. Like, a movie like Die Hard. Die Hard is the story of some dude. He's just like a loser kind of cop from New York just trying to like survive the scene. To survive the movie. I'm a big fan of that. Ooh, we've been going for an hour already, y'all. We got lots more questions. Ooh, it's been flying by. What do you do for exercise, physical activity? I do about a 30-minute dog walk every day. I used to do yoga every day, and I've slacked on that. I do jogging and or like beach frisbeeing once or twice a week at the beach if I can, or at a park. I used to do a lot more hiking and outdoorsman stuff, but I haven't lately. I just walk. I walk a lot. I get moving, get out of my chair. I have free weights at my desk that I lift during the day. About every 20 minutes, I like get up, move. Die Hard is the best Christmas movie for sure. So I don't do a ton. I'm naturally very skinny. I just try to increase my flexibility and core strength where I can. Oh, one from Daniel. Do you have any games you would want to make that your audience wouldn't expect? Something that doesn't necessarily feel like a Peter game. I mean, not really. I don't. I'm somebody who is so ingrained in my own tastes that I don't know if there's any curveballs. There is, I think, a really funny game to make would be a peasant dating game would be really funny. Like, you're filthy peasants. Like, maybe like an expansion to Peasantry would be really fun to make. But it's like a dating sim. I think that'd be really funny. But no, like, I'm a guy that like knows his tastes. You know what I mean? Like, I like what I like, and I like making what I like. What other niche interests apart from TTRPG playing design do you have, and how do you engage with them? Oh, that's a fun one. Shockingly, y'all know I'm really into history. Like
details of history, especially how warfare, weaponry, and technology evolved over time. Very into medieval history. I watch like Todd's Workshop and Scholia Gladiatoria and all that. And that's mostly just through like watching their videos. I don't watch a lot of like Dungeon Tube. I don't watch a lot of like RPG YouTube, actually. I primarily watch historical YouTube. People may not know this, but I used to be super into fighting games. Not like tournament level, but I used to play a lot of fighting games. I'm really good at Super Smash Bros. I also no-lifed the MMORPG New World. I loved that thing. I still do. It was so good. I played it so darn much. Hey, Stephanie plays games. Dating sims are my jam, yeah. Yeah, like I used to be really into MMOs. I was like a guild leader and a raid leader in WoW for a long time back in the day, and like I'm a gamer. Super into Hunt Showdown. I just don't play a lot of video games these days because of the time. I've been using that time to make stuff. I don't really have any other really weird niche interests, honestly. I'm pretty normal. I read a lot, but that's not surprising. I juggle, actually. There's a weird one. I don't have any. I'm actually a pretty decent juggler. I learned that in middle school. Yeah, that's good times. Any like crunchy RPGs on PC? I loved Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 so much back in the day. And I never actually finished Baldur's Gate 3, but I played a ton of it. But a lot of those games have come about in an era where I just don't have that much time to play. When I play video games, it needs to be friend time. We need to be playing something co-op together, and usually casual. I was Alliance from day one. I played original vanilla WoW in beta. I was there on launch day with my human warlock. I was super into it, like really into WoW at launch. It came out like at the end of high school for me or something like that. It was perfect timing. Cyber, the troll question here. If you answer this question randomly, what is the chance you would answer correctly? 25%, 50%, 0. It's going to be C. 0%. Next. What's a mistake you made on the advertising social media side of getting your project done? I didn't run proper ads, like to get outside of the niches and spaces that I'm already moderately known in. My use of Google ads or meta ads and all that wasn't very effective because I'm not very good at configuring that. And that's something I didn't do a good job of. I plan on fixing that for any next crowdfunder. And possibly for like the sale of hard copies of my book. It's just something I need to research and learn better. Dirty Alliance player detected. Alliance for life. From Prof. Did you ever learn a game design lesson from a surprising area outside of game design field? Tell us. I would say philosophy teaches you excellent analysis skills. Excellent analysis skills that you can use for game design. I will say, and this is like a known thing, like play board games, play TCGs, play party games. Any type of game can help inform game design for any other type of tabletop, including video games. But honestly, it was my study of philosophy. Really helped. Helped a lot. What else we got here? What is your largest unsolved problem? Oh, yeah, this is the one that Daniel was referring to that he had a solution to. This is from Capitalist. So, okay, character creation in TFE is really cool. But the first time you do it, it's not great. Like, there's a user experience of navigating the book and piecing things together that I wish we figured out a better way to encapsulate and like present to the player and have them, or the reader, and have them work through it. I'm not satisfied really with how it turned out. Like, it's fine. It's good. It's pretty. But I feel like we never really captured a flow for creation that onboards you initially into the process. The second character you make, everybody says like, oh yeah, now that I get it, I can piece together my character no problem. But man, the first time is tough. So that's been a serious problem. It's a user experience. Yeah, exactly. Like, there's just a user experience aspect to it that's challenging. And we trust me when I say we worked really hard on that. Yeah, we have an example in the book that walks through creating Mudo, one character all the way through to hopefully help. But honestly, never really found a better solution, and that's okay. Maybe a future book will have a different user experience when we figure it out, right? And that'll help people on board with it. It's a great question. Perhaps tangentially related, if you were designing TFE to be played only on a VTT, what could or would you change? If it was exclusively VTT stuff, maybe I wouldn't have needed to use like range bands, maybe. Or honestly, I don't know if I'd change a whole lot. I think the game translates to VTT use pretty easily. I don't think any particular design choice makes it inherently harder. I'm actually not sure. I'm not like the VTT guy, so I feel a little underqualified to answer this. Like, I just use the most basic one I can, right? I don't build any bells and whistles. I mean, Ella, you've made like an incredible tool for Owlbear for this. So like, I feel like you'd be better suited to answer this I don't know if you're in chat right now or watching this later, but you'd honestly be better to answer that. All right, we're almost through the initial wave. Almost. Okay, from Spirit Paws. Would you play every game your Discord community is making? I wish I could playtest your games with y'all so much. I lurk almost every conversation on that server. Like, I'm there. I've been there the whole time. I'm watching and I'm listening and seeing your projects. But realistically, I can't take the time to engage with all of them. I've got a day job. So increasing that level of involvement would be cool, but realistically, I think that just to kind of keep answering the remainder of that question, I think in order to make something like that viable, it would need to be pay gated, which I'd hate to do, honestly, because if I'm going to be dedicating extra time and energy, it needs to be worth it to take away from other projects that I'm doing. So maybe something in the future where there's a patron tier or something where, it gets you certain playtest access to me or something like that, maybe. But like, as y'all know, I don't like to gate access to like interacting with me behind a paywall. But there's some realistic things I'd have to consider from the business angle. Dave, when are you quitting your day job? What would it take to make that happen for you? Just really quick. Just, for those that don't know, I have a pretty well-paying software development job that's remote. I work right there behind me. And I have significant life costs, mortgage, medical debts. Peter's personal life is somewhat in shambles. That means I can't risking it on being a content creator and game designer until that's like significantly more economically viable for me. So, yeah, like anything that takes extra time is going to have to be worth it, sadly. But I would like to do, we have the Tabletop Community Spotlight that is a way to try to, that like Isaac and others have been running, which is awesome. And the hope would be is that those would fulfill some of that. I would love to be more involved again with the community. It's just a matter of time and money, which is unfortunate. Let's see here. Hugh has, what genre would you never want to adapt TFE to? Excluding the obvious, such as heroic fantasy. I never would want to adapt? That's really interesting. Like, there's stuff that'd be really obvious, like, I don't know, like romance and cozy. Like cozy, anything cozy I'm not interested in doing. But if it's horror adjacent, I'm probably down as long as it's reasonable, right? Let me just check my chat here really quick. A TFE consultation meeting. Yeah, just there'd be something like that potentially. But Hugh, I'm not sure. I think of new settings all the time, like new things that would be super cool to make. But as long as it touches horror, I'd probably overall be down. I just don't do like romance usually, like at all. This was Daniel had an answer for this. This was about we weren't satisfied with the game. So folks were talking about potential TFE setting books, and this is a reminder for me to talk about it. So let's talk through really quick all the setting ideas we have coming. So we have Medieval Madness. Oh, this isn't quite big enough. And I also misspelled medieval. Medieval Madness. Let's make this a little bigger. So, Medieval Madness. Early medieval dark fantasy horror. We have, these are all code names, by the way. We have Final Frontiers. Think Alien, Event Horizon, The Expanse, a little bit of Firefly maybe. Think about crews out in the void of space encountering horrors with space battles and all sorts of stuff. We have Satanic Panic. This is 1980s. These are all the ones that we have at least a rough idea about. 1980s Stranger Things, slasher flick, investigative setting. We have, this one's called Thalassophobia. Probably misspelling that. Current idea for this is actually like dark Aegean horror piracy in the antiquity, in the Aegean Sea, something like that. Not super, I don't know yet, with crew battles and ship-to-ship combat. Something like that. Yeah, I will unseat Mothership. Exactly. There's, it's called Cybercult is another one that I have sketches for. So Cybercult is Eastern Orthodox Russian cyberpunk mysticism cult stuff. So we're talking like a cyberpunk setting, but like dystopian Cold War, Eastern Orthodox, like Slavic, like really weird, where there's like a theocratic techno ruler shit. So like imagine a cyberpunk setting where the corpos are also the church, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like where it's also a theocracy. Anyway, super weird setting that I have like the grumblings of in my mind. And that one would have, like you can go into like the Matrix kind of thing too, and it'd be a lot of espionage stuff. Really neat stuff like that. I have a feeling I'm forgetting. So there's like mecha ? Like I have thoughts on how mecha could work, like mechs could work. I just don't have like a setting or a world for that. I think that's all of the settings that have any amount of like, oh yeah, the mouse setting. What was that one? I forgot the code name of that one. It's in one of my notebooks, but one in the vein of Mouse Guard or Mouse Ritter, zoom down. Hollow Nest was the name of that, something like that. Yeah. So that's one we have like some ideas for as well. This is also, don't hold me to this. Yeah, screenshot it, sure, and taunt me with it later. This is also roughly the order of setting books we'll be releasing. Roughly. Each one is going to add, each book is going to add a new sub-mechanic, like new bespoke mechanics for that setting. And each book is going to be designed to be cross-compatible to some greater or lesser degree. Like, they're all going to use the core TFE rule system. Technically, before all of this, the TFE OGL and TFE SRD for free use will be released as well. But they're all going to be built on those same bones. But after, like, Medieval Madness comes out, if you want to, like, do something more like classic Deadlands where there's actual magic, you take the magic system from Medieval Madness, slap it into Clockworld, and you got your hybrid setting. The attempt is also to have as little duplicative content between books as possible. What I mean by that is there won't even be the same edge categories in each book. Like, gonna try to not make it so you buy Medieval Madness and see a bunch of stuff you got in Clockworld. Like, we're talking 95% new content in each book is the goal, which is terrifying because I put 133 edges in Clockworld, and it means I need to put 133 edges in Medieval Madness with only 5% duplicate. So, what have I done? But I love making edges. I've already written like 40 edges for Medieval Madness, so with no duplicates. So this is roughly the setting books, like the big tentpole, 380 to 400 page books that we're going to be working on. It's going to be slow because, day job, So I can only work on these so quickly, but very excited, right? Like, I get super excited thinking about these. And my notebooks, I have these notebooks. I fill these up all the time. I have different sections for each of the new books, and I'm always making notes. Okay, how would the future books include ways to... Yeah, so what it's going to say in the book is like, once in the second book, like starting in Medieval Madness, is we'll probably have just a little half-pager that talks about how to combine books, or we'll do something like a free one-pager on the website that says like, hey, here's how you can combine these. But honestly, because they're all going to be the same rule structure, like it's, profession, culture, incident, edge categories, vendors. Like the effort of combining them will be very low, honestly. Like want to include magic edges in Clockworld, just include any backstory element that would do that, or just like let people take magic edges then, right? Like really easy to do. All right, so that's enough on that subject, but really excited to make these. They're going to be super fun to make. And expect tons of playtests to be run like in the server for those games. Okay, from Kaylee London. Do you have any tips for going from feature complete to manuscript complete? Okay, yes, I have one really important tip. Oh, right, what Daniel said is really just a shout out really fast. We want to release little zines that are like, here's how to combine two specific books, and here's a little setting guide for it. Like what would be Clockworld plus Final Frontiers for a Firefly-like book. Here's like a pitch on that world and how to combine them. But yeah, it would require some like thematic homebrewing, Okay, so tips for going from feature complete to manuscript complete. Something I've noticed a lot of designers do is they want to simulate everything in their book. They want their rules to cover every possible situation. And I think at one point you have to say like, the rest of it is up to the GM and the players at the table. I think when books continually keep adding new structures and structures and structures, that's what dooms getting to manuscript. So it's the whole, like good is the enemy of what is it, like perfect is the enemy of good enough type of thing. It's knowing when your game is simulating what it needs to simulate, like the scenes and the experiences that it needs to, and just being like, that is good enough, That's a big thing. Like this is kind of a larger philosophical thing. But like, pick the type of stuff you want your players to do in it, and don't try to cram everything into your book. Honestly, my Clockworld was too big a book to start out with. I should have made something smaller. Honestly. All right, from Robin. What are some of the important changes you've incorporated or made to your workflow throughout this project? What did you learn and how did you incorporate it? And how does your workflow look now compared to when you started? I'm much more organized now when I started using Trello boards and doing some change logs. That really helped with my workflow. I've tried to incorporate more handwritten aspects to my workflow for mental health and focus. That's been really big. Having notebooks. So this is the notebook for TFE setting books. Like, this notebook is for side projects with my Smash Bros logo on it. And it's like focusing in on something, handwriting it has been huge. But I was already very organized, like in general, and that's really helpful. But like I mentioned earlier, boy, do not iterate on your game in your layout editor, like in InDesign or Affinity. If it's a big game, you will regret it. Big time. But I just use Google Docs. I use Google Docs. I wish I had better folder discipline in there, but I usually don't have a problem staying organized. That's something I'm pretty good at. But yeah, have a workflow and stick to it, honestly. Like, make a process and stick to the process. It's that discipline of sticking to it that's the hardest part. Lucian, what have you learned from the entire production side of making a game, from marketing to Kickstarter to printing and soon distribution? How are you going to adjust next time? Or what can we... So I won't talk too much about this, mainly because I plan on doing a video series on this subject where I dig in to these subjects and provide some tutorials. But a big part of it is you got to know your own limits on what you can build and manufacture and fulfill. I am so thankful that I didn't try to do a bunch of stuff like merchandising with my Kickstarter. I did not have the mental bandwidth to like manufacture a ton of dice, make a GM screen, make a dice tray, do a box set. Like, man, no way. Like, I don't talk about this much on publicly, but like Peter's personal life over the last 3+ years has been quite a struggle. Like this, the community here and game design, all that has been a huge balm to that. But like, I've been doing this on hard mode, like in my personal life, quite the trials and tribulations. So I knew going into it what my limitations were going to be. And next time around, and because of that, my Kickstarter was under monetized. We have about 1,000 backers. It's like 970 something. And, but an average pledge of only about $50. If I had an average pledge of about $100, I would have made almost $100,000, right? Maybe double what we would have made if I had just given people more opportunities to give me money. I literally had people messaging me on Kickstarter or in Discord, basically saying, I want to give you more money for this project, basically, right? Like there weren't enough opportunities to support it and get more stuff, right? So that's something I definitely plan on incorporating. Also, I think I mentioned this earlier, incorporating better like meta ads and like meta ads, Google ads, all that kind of stuff. I plan on talking with Ash over at I'm blanking on his company's name. I'm just a little tired, I guess. He made, Draconim and Legends of Akaroth. He's awesome. Cross Paths games. He's super smart and really good at the advertising side. And I'll be talking to my buddy Jeremiah too, more about that, to come up with ways to increase monetization that don't break my brain. Yeah, and some people could have bought more books. But it's some people did buy multiple books, which is great. But like, there's an amount of where like you can give more for it, like just more stuff. And I'll be finding out more ways to do it. But I'm really happy with the number. Like, honestly, what I look at as a mark of success isn't how much money I made, because we got funded and then some, but it's just how many, like 1,000 people pre-ordered my game, basically, right? Like, that's awesome. And I think I mentioned this before, but we made enough that we're going to get to place a double order, not just enough books to fulfill the Kickstarter, but to have like an extra almost 500 books probably to continue to sell, which will help support future projects. So it's honestly going to be great. Yeah. And, and Sayrock, just to kind of point that out, this is also my chance to prove with this first book that we will deliver roughly on time. We'll be a smidge late. We're going to deliver an awesome book on time, super high production value, really awesome product. That to prove like, hey, like this tiny company that's mostly just like me and my buddies, a couple buddies putting this all together, we can make a premium product and deliver it mostly on time. Like we're talking might be a month late, right? Like not a huge delay, a little late, not like 6 months late, not a year late. And we'll prove that in the next time around when we offer a more robust set of products like GM screens and all that, we'll scale it up a little bit more. Maybe the average pledge next time is $100 average pledge. And then the time after that, maybe it's $150, and we'll just keep walking it up. Hey, Monomakes, thanks, buddy. I was just using your dice. I use your dice at every D&D session I play. I love your dice, dude. Okay, Dave's got another one here. Let's see. Who is your dream cast for the pre-gen characters when the movie is a go? Maybe Idris Elba as Hezekiah Pace. I think Idris Elba's great. Honestly, I don't know. I'd have to really think about that. I should have prepped myself on reading these more ahead of time. The actress that was the lead in Prey would be a pretty badass Temeki. Like, she was awesome in Prey. She's a little younger than Temeki is in my mind, but boy, I don't know. That'd be tough. I actually prefer in movies when they do go with unknown actors to better embody the character rather than just going for star power. That's a personal preference thing. Big time. Stephanie says it. Now you have to say that thousands, not dozens of us like Weird West. Yeah. Oh, Keith David for Hezekiah. There's a pick. Keith David's one of my favorite actors. Young Sam Elliott for Herschel. Oh, that's fun. Yeah. Lady Yun is just a normal human lady. Yeah. Yun's just a normal human lady. Anybody can play her. A director in mind? John Hillcoat or Robert Eggers, or maybe Zach Cregger's. Robert Eggers, Zach Cregger, a horror director. I like John Hillcoat a lot. I think he can maybe do a good job. Oh, and wait, there was another question there. Will there be expanded TFE dedicated music? I would love to work more with Pierce Martin, the composer for those. Those were vanity pieces. Like, honestly, I paid out of pocket for all those other ones, and they're awesome. But we'd have to have some pretty good, like, pay margins to pay for more of that. I mean, we'll definitely have at least one piece per Kickstarter campaign. Like, I already know what, like, the animatic trailer is going to be like for Medieval Madness. Spoilers, there's like a epic poem that is going to be voiced during the Medieval Madness trailer that I'm writing, and it's awesome. Little did you know, Peter has written more than one poem. He has written multiple poems in his time and has several poems memorized. But there's gonna be like an epic poem, like Medieval Madness, with the scenes animated for that one. It's gonna be sick. There's a line in it that goes something like, see if I can remember. By felon blade or God-sent plague, each bitter throne is barren laid. So it's going to be good stuff. I like poetry a lot, actually. Yeah, this is going to be sick. That's going to be a rad. We'll have it animated like the other ones. All of Beowulf. Yeah, just like shorter, a couple minutes to read. But, it'll be like a dark fantasy poem describing the setting with a simple rhyme scheme. Maybe when we get 20,000 subscribers, I'll recite the poems that I've written on stream. Are there other major Clockworld releases planned, or is it just onward and forward to the medieval game? That's a really good question. So I showed a little earlier the Trello board. And so what do we have planned here for Clockworld specifically? We are not moving on immediately to Medieval Madness. We want to support Clockworld. We want to support each of these. So we have, there's going to be trifolds. Oh, that's too small. It's a little bigger. So the plans right now are trifolds and zines in support of Clockworld, specifically Clockworld. Trifolds, zines. So what do we have in here? There's the 5 launch, there's season 1 trifolds. These are already in production. Y'all have already seen a bunch of these. There's going to be 5 of them. 3 of them are done, 2 more on the way. No, not the philosophy blog. I will never share that philosophy blog. Probably it's too embarrassing. So, what other trifolds are coming? I am working. Daniel is working on a trifold. Daniel, should I? Want to send me a quick screenshot? Do you want me to show just a little bit of the trifold you're working on? Because that'd be fun. He's close. Yeah, Daniel. So Daniel's working on a trifold. I'm just going to call it Daniel Trifold. If he sends me an image that I can share. So we have another trifold for Clockworld. I'm working on a trifold called, Beneath the Painted Mesa is being worked on by me. The philosophy blog, I don't know, man. I believe that's it. Oh, I can look on my other screen. I just don't want to show too much. I'd be careful what I show on my browsers here. Don't want to dox myself too much. So, okay, let's see. Trifolds. We have the season 1, which there's 2 more to come, which is the Massacre of Meridiana and Bayou of Bile. Then we have Beneath the Painted Mesa. We have Daniel's trifold. Then I think that's it for currently planned trifolds. Then we have a couple zines being planned. We have Sinking City Blues, which is going to be part of a series. I'm just going to take them one at a time, though. So Sinking City Blues is a deep dive and guide into De Trompe. and an event, like going through all the different, like zoom in on like a map of Day Trompe and all the cool stuff that happens there, as well as an adventure that uses that, like a longer form adventure, like a 5-session adventure set in Day Trompe. We have the Fair Chase, which is basically Hunt Showdown rules for Clockworld. It is a zine that is going to have a bounty hunting rule set to some degree, like not bounty hunting like people, like hunting a monster, like a big monster rule set, and like basically mini hex crawls to find them and take them down, as well as an adventure utilizing those rules. We also have, this one's really early in production, but we have Stagecoach Mayhem. This is really, really early. I just have a couple notes on this. So Stagecoach Mayhem is going to be a zine adventure that gives rules for how to have like a team stagecoach that you like customize with weapons and armor, and like how to do like chase scenes where you're like shooting at the other stagecoaches from your mounted guns and stuff. So that'd be a zine, and all of these are expanding the rule sets of Clockworld. And I think, okay, there's also super early. There's the Chain Letter Mystery zine that I'm probably going to be working on with, I'm just kind of move that like that, with Misty, who I think might still be in the chat right now. So there's a bunch of stuff planned for Clockworld specifically. We are still kicking around the idea of a hardcover adventure book, but what we may do is aggregate a lot of the other smaller content into a one big like season and kickstart that later. War Wagon type stuff, exactly, like Mad Max War Wagon stuff. So this is like first party products, right? This is what we are going to produce and likely not need to crowdfund because they're smaller in scope and we'll just use profits to make them. This is separate from other games we are making, like Toast, Joust, Waste Not, Want Not, and some other things. Hey, okay, Misty is here. There's also going to be, at launch, we are going to do a game jam, a trifold adventure game jam, like horror trifold game jam. It's going to be presented for like, hey, like make trifold adventures, a la Mothership or the ones we make, and we'll do a stream where like I'll print them all out and like use the hand cam and like show people's trifolds. And there will be, the trifolds will not need to be for Clockworld to participate. However, the competition portion, of which I will be choosing a first, second, and third place for a prize yet to be determined, will only be for ones that are compatible with Clockworld. Like the jam, you don't have to, like as a whole. And I'll be like showing off jams, trifolds for other games, but for the competition part, where internally me and Daniel and Tim, basically the TFE people decide on which ones we want to win, will only be the ones that are Clockworld compatible, right? That's kind of the rough plan there. It will be launching around when the books need to be out for Clockworld before we ask people to start making trifolds, but we want to get them out there, and potentially the winners would be ones like we would help publish their trifolds for them potentially. Okay, Daniel sent me. So okay, Daniel's trifold is called Eye in the Sky, and possibly expect playtests to happen of this in the server. But it's really, really cool. Daniel's doing all the art himself and layout himself, and it's looking awesome. Here's a quick thing. It's called Eye in the Sky. It's super, super cool. It would not necessarily Clockworld compatible, Isaac, just TFE compatible. Yep, just TFE. Doesn't have to specifically be for Clockworld, but it should be compatible with the rule set in general. If you finish a trifold beforehand, can we still participate? Absolutely. Oh, see you later, Frank. Yeah. But yeah, we'll post rules for all of that, for the jam, when we're getting a little closer to that. Yeah, really. So as you can see, there's a lot of Clockworld support still coming, right? We're not just done with Clockworld, moving on to Medieval. I'm figuring out my work how I'm going to work on all of this. because I have so many ideas. But yeah, the plan is to continue to support each of these games significantly. It's just like with the Discord server. If I want a community to make content for my game, I need to show us making that content first. For Trifolds, we will be releasing a Trifold template in Affinity for free for anybody to download if they want to fast track being able to make their own Trifolds. You don't have to figure out how to set this up in Affinity. We will give you an Affinity template that will roughly lay out how we do our Trifolds for anybody to use. Because layout is hard. And just to be clear, we won't be judging like these Trifolds on like, oh, your art wasn't great. But, you know, there's an overall presentation that we want to see. But I think folks in the TFE server can attest, man, use like stock art, use historical open source stuff, use Creative Commons. You can make gorgeous stuff. And we'll be helping people with that in the server as best we can. Yeah, really excited. Tons and tons of support. And we want to keep doing this for all of the books, really, right? Like, not just like dump them and be moving on. See what's Dave asking. Oh, well, I'll be preparing oats. No, oat can't. I ate all my oats before the stream. Oh, and here's one from Ugly Goblin from Gabriel. In your opinion, what makes a good title? Oh, so this is funny. Or what are qualities a great TTRPG title should have? I know that the Ugly Goblin gave. He's struggling with titles for his own game right now. I'm aware. Oh, hey Blaze. I am aware. You know how challenging that would be. So, oh yeah. So William. Basically, yeah. The winners we would like produce with our artists and make like a super fancy version of the Trifolds in all likelihood. So, okay, what makes a great title for a TTRPG? A great title poses a question. Like, not literally a question. And for the record, I don't actually think my game has the best title, but like I like it. So, okay. Never Going Home. This is a really good title, I think. Like, that goes hard. It tells you something. Like, there's a story there that is now setting my expectations. Right? Like, it tells me a lot about this game just from that. Never Going Home. Really evocative. Shadow Dark. Really simple title. Really effective. I think Blades in the Dark. Really good. I think Tales from Elsewhere is a good title. You're right. But like Tales from Elsewhere Clockworld is a little long. I'm hard on myself because I have imposter syndrome. But yeah, it needs to be evocative. It needs to pull you in. So, okay. As an example, I got handed a free quick start for Dolmenwood. I don't know that Dolmenwood is a particularly excellent title, but it's solid. Like, solid. You know, decent. It's a place. Coyote and Crow is a really cool title. Okay, so this is a quick start I picked up from my buddy Davidson Cole, who works at Post Human Games. The Snarl. It's a cool title for a role-playing game, I thought, right? Like, just to kind of like shout out a buddy, game designer. They're working on, this is a weird fantasy role-playing game with no humans in it. Nothing but strange critters in a strange world. And it's actually really cool. I read this on the flight. It's very neat. For those of you that are interested in playing animal-like creatures or like non-human creatures that aren't just like a animal head swapped onto the body of a person, right? Like you can, like, it's a world not designed for humanoids significantly. So really, really neat game. But I think Vagabond is a cool name for a title, right? It's punchy and snappy. Imposter syndrome. So yeah, a good title gets you in the headspace for the game, right? Like, puts you into the mental state of what you're going to be doing. Like, Never Going Home. Great title. I put a cough drop in my mouth. My voice is not fully recovered from Gen Con. Okay. But that's a tough one. It's got to pull you in and make you curious for more. Okay, that was it for so Daniel's been capturing some that I'm going to snag here. Okay. Thank you, Daniel, for capturing these. I have another question. What is your favorite threat of each type? People, robot, beast, undead, horror. People, probably sheriff. Robot. I think the labor bots might be one of my favorite robots. Like, not counting, blood oilers. I like labor bots. They can just like pull your arms out of their sockets. Beast, probably old Adlac. I love old Adlac. Undead would be blood oilers, and horror. Like the wolves in sheep's clothing are one of my favorites, but the one I actually like using the most are Kilkenny cats. I love those little guys. They're a lot of fun. Okay, next one. Oh, Fortunato was asking about like the layout of Never Going Home. It just needs to be organized so I could find information I need on it, It's really hard to find. Oh, this was answered, but yet somebody was asking about post-launch support. I already got that answered. Most looking forward to probably Medieval Madness. I'm really excited for that. Is which setting I'm most interested in. Oh boy, this is a great question. Okay. Hypothetically, if you were given the option to write the next edition of D&D with you having absolute creative control, would you take that opportunity? Absolutely. I'd wreck it. I'd wreck it so bad. Like, my vision would be not coherent with the general public. But I'd do it. I'd do it anyway. I would actually hire a lot of the people. I'd hire like people who've been making really good Heartbreakers, like Evan Diaz. Help me fix it. It'd be a really tough challenge, honestly. I could see why I wouldn't want to do it. All right, so let's see. In TFE, how strategic and narratively significant are the environments presented to be? Very. When I was working with one of my favorite reviews of my game, they basically said, and the terrain actually mattered. They were so excited because cover matters a lot. Hazards and obstacles in the game are extremely dangerous. And because of the injury system, even just like a 20-foot drop, you could throw somebody off that and they will get seriously hurt from that and could die. So like the terrain and environments around you really matter. Or like ask anybody who's gone through one of the dungeons that has a bunch of devil's breath in it, how much the environment matters. They'll be like, it matters a lot. So the hazards in the game are a really gnarly tool set that I think make it matter a lot. Okay, switching over to the AMA where we've had some more posted. Lucia said, who is your favorite subscriber? It's Red Richard, obviously. No, just kidding. No, Red, Mrs. Red, and Mr. Red are like not single-handedly. They are like the reason my Discord community is as successful as it is because of their help, and they're just amazing. I got to shout them out. Okay, let's see. Oh, Jeff asked a cool question. Was the pre-Calamity Wondrous tech more steampunk, dieselpunk, atompunk, or cyberpunk? Well, it's a little bit of both. It's actually a combination. So it was primarily steampunk, but the Calamity engine is more like atompunk, right? It pushed things beyond what they normally could do. But I purposely left it ambiguous so people can sculpt it as they see fit. Let's see. Oh, somebody, yep. Luke, I answered that one. Okay, Rainmaker is asking, what is your favorite game mechanic that you've come up with that you want to do something with, but just does not fit with the TFE system? Well, because I'm fiddling with solo games right now, like using playing cards I think is really fun, and but like honestly would just interfere with the flow of the way the TFE system works, because it's already the baseline core resolution is sufficiently complicated. That's tricky though. Like dabbling in, well, that's why I made something like Sticky Note Comics to play around with. Like I make these smaller games sometimes just to play around with new mechanics. So like using approaches and that kind of stuff was why I made Sticky Note Comics. That's a good question. Oh, Rainmaker's asking, if someone ever made a TFE Clockworld video game, what would you hope for? Interestingly, we are playing around with a friend of ours and like making making some video games. We'll set that aside. Nothing super serious at this point. I mean, honestly, like taking Hunt Showdown, like it'd be Hunt Showdown, but an MMO maybe. Like Hunt Showdown is already like the perfect Clockworld video game. I wouldn't try to actually replicate the gameplay of TFE in a video game, right? I'd rather it be set in the world and tell its own story that best suits that medium. Okay. Well, I just have to highlight this. Just in case Brendan, our buddy, watches this stream, when will Brendan get his book? He's a dear friend of mine, known him forever, and he always, like, when we're talking, he's like, where book? He keeps saying to me, and soon. Brendan, I'm sorry. It takes time to make the book. Okay, I think that was all the AMAs. I'm double checking here. Oh, Daniel sent me another one. On your thought of that your D&D edition would not match what most people would want from it, does a new edition of a game have obligation to... Oh, that's a really good question. Oh, and hey, Joshua. We got to hang out at Gen Con, which was awesome. Okay. Since that was like pretty much all the AMA, we'll switch over to like chat now. And I'll talk a little bit about this. D&D's greatest strength and weakness is its legacy. In that each edition of the game, they are attempting to maintain aspects of previous editions and like pull people forward. Because for Hasbro, they need maximum like market reach. They like need everybody on board as much as they can. I don't think new editions need to do that necessarily. With a game as big as D&D, like there are people who still play 4th edition D&D, right? Like, because it's still there. There was tons of books for it. I don't think an RPG needs a subscription model structure. Like I know in this day and age, like the live service ideas, like you must have continually new information made for, or new stuff made first party to survive. I don't like necessarily agree with that. I think a new edition needs to have a really good reason to exist. And D&D 5.5 did not have a good reason to exist, for example. 5th edition had a good reason to exist. 5.5, it didn't. So if I were to make a new edition of D&D, it would be different from 5e, right? Like, it would be substantively not the same game, because that's the point of making a new edition, rather than just continually adding new stuff for the stuff that already is there. I'm not into minor shifts that constitute a new edition. Like, we backed the new edition of Cypher. Excited to play that. But, like, it's not that old a game. I feel like. I don't know. The changes are small. It's a weird edition update. So, I think, yeah, new editions of games need really good reason to exist. From what I hear, Masks 2nd edition is actually struggling to get, like, the media traction and, like, supporter traction that it's looking for. Mainly because, like, why do we need a new edition? You know? Right? Yeah, new edition in a new game. Like, I think a new edition needs to, like, substantively justify its existence rather than just calling it a reprint. Like, a reprint is different. You know? Like, We fixed some of the layouts, but it's the same game. If I can use all the content I could use from a previous edition for the new one, I question its need to exist. Wait, why white screen? Please change. Oh, did something happen on the stream? Visuals? Why white screen? Please change. But I think we can actually switch off of Excalidraw now. And we can switch over to, I think it's the right one. There we go. No longer need the presentation mode. Oh, just flashing my eyes. I'm a dark mode guy on everything but like my web browser. But now we're done with the with Excalidraw. Wow, it has been 2 hours, everybody. Ooh-wee. Without break. I'm just stretching a bit here. Oh boy. So that was all the AMA. But I'm going to hang out a bit longer here and talk through in Peter's D&D 6e, what are the highlights? Like, okay, so all right, let's talk what Peter's 6th edition would be. I think there's a few things. Let's talk through this. I think, one, it would be more squarely rules medium. What I mean by that is D&D 5e, it wounds. No, I wouldn't change like hit points. Like D&D, I wouldn't try to like change things that are core to D&D, like the 6 attributes, roll a d20, roll over, like all that's I think fine. But I would make the game feel more open-ended than the current one is. So right now, 5th edition in particular, and honestly like 3rd edition on, is too concrete in its language and in like its explanations of things. You know, when it has a spell, that spell is exactly what the spell does, no more, no less. And there's like this idea of like highly encapsulated rules functions. And I would like to open that up a bit more again to how I know a lot of people actually DM this, right? Like I want to make the rule system match the way folk D&D, as it's called, is actually played. Right? Because there's a way that D&D is actually played by people who play it long term that is often more fun than the way the rules are presented. Right? Like, people don't play rules as written. Not really. Like, okay, one of the DMs that is in our local group, he's awesome. He plays D&D, he runs D&D very rules as written. Rules as written. We look up the exact language of things. That is not for everybody. I don't think that's how most people play. So it would be an attempt to make the rules explanations and expectations more in line with the open-ended way that a lot of people actually do it. Oh, see you, Stephanie. Thanks for stopping by. Sorry, I see. How would you make sure that numbers go up and shareholders are happy? I wouldn't. I would be bad at that. But there's a way that D&D is actually played, and so my primary goal would be like to make D&D in line with the way I think the community at large plays it. And that's why it would be a new edition. Like, this is a new way to play it. 5th edition is still there in its moderate crunchiness. But, excuse me. So that would be like one of the big things. The martial caster divide, not in power, but in interesting things to do, would be a huge priority for me to fix. You'd still have simple character options, but there would be simple magic character options and simple martial character options and complex magic options and complex martial options. And the complex martial options wouldn't just be giving them spells. You know, the excuse is, well, you got to have an easy class in every game for why the barbarian is so boring, though thematically cool. Yeah, well, why isn't the wizard the uninteresting one? Like, why not make the sorcerer the one that's super simple? So allowing characters to opt into a level of complexity would be big on my priority list, where you could have dynamic, interesting, more complex martials and simple casters. Both of these would be options. Like, you'd have to be able to do that. That'd be the second pillar. Third pillar would be to make the OGL actually like really open and good, which I don't know. That's not really a design question. Rainmaker asked a question. what do you think of the idea of splitting rules for the ease of use, like the core idea of a core rules light book, then expanded toolkit? I think that kind of thing is totally good. Like when a game has a simple core and you can layer on top of it, is a solid structure. Solid structure indeed. Yeah, so like, yeah, flocking with you. You know, I like the idea of giving players more wiggle room to be creative with how the spells work. Yeah, like we don't need a ton of different spells that are all deal damage of a slightly different type in a slightly different shape. We don't need the explosion shape, the cone shape, the aura shape, like all of there's a ton of this. There's tons of this. And it's not that interesting. Yeah, like basic, expert, and advanced, like just like let people play a little bit more within the rules. Because again, like with how much 5th edition and 5.5 exists, there's no need to replicate all of that in the new edition I have, which is why I'm bad for shareholders, because it wouldn't be compatible with previous editions. Also, the hit point bloat would be significantly lower. It would still be hit points and damage rolls because I think that's part of D&D. I have no need to change that in that game. That's why I made Tales from Elsewhere. But the idea would be is that you'd be able to use more of the monster manual at once, because the scaling wouldn't be so drastic in the game. Like lower level enemies will stay more relevant longer by flattening out some of the growth of HP to a degree. Yeah, like Nimble's a great example of this. Anyway, so that's kind of the thrust of what my 6th edition would be. It would still be heroic fantasy. It'd still be awesome. You know, you'd still be doing big flashy things. But it honestly would resemble a bit more of how Nimble does it, but not quite that simple. I wouldn't be trying to cut it down. Nimble is a great like 6th edition, I think, right? Because it's still very much D&D. Let's see. Assuming I like the idea, I think it's important to pick out what parts of the folk practice are actually good. Roll a natural 20 to win is something. Oh yeah, totally, Zan. So like, I think clearly delineating what the dice mean. You know, what is a natural 20 is inconsistent. Like, what does a 20 and a 1 actually mean is actually super inconsistent in 5.5, and people use it inconsistently. So having that be a more clear indicator, I would probably lean into more like the way Tales from Elsewhere does it in the difficulty settings. So the DCs in D&D, it has some fixed ones and they're mostly ignored. Actually leaning into that more for clarity. There'd be more player-facing structure to the game to make it smoother and faster. So yeah. Hope you're surviving the heat, my friend. Yeah, I'm in my air-conditioned office, so I'm doing good. And I have solar, so like my energy bill is actually really simple, or really low. Yeah, I agree to cut the number of spells down to give options. Yeah, so like we don't need a bunch of different sized and scaling damage of the same type of spell. Just let people pick the element. Honestly, like cut the bloat. Make spells that are interesting. I would also significantly cut down the damage capability of spellcasters, their raw damage output. The marshals slay monsters. The magic users solve problems. That would be a big thing, by the way. Spellcasters would not be dealing that much damage in the newer edition. That would not be their role. Their role would not be blaster. Not in the same way. Area effect stuff would still be there, so like they would be the best at hitting large numbers of enemies, but they would be more focused on utility rather than blasting outside of specific subclasses and such, like they would be blasters. Just the raw power in the spells is too high, honestly, like raw damage power. No, Zan, you're not being a downer. All right, let's see here. Tell us your single favorite gaming moment that you've had within the last year. Wow, last year, so much has happened in the last year that's going to be tough to answer. Okay, I'll pick a moment from Gen Con, because Gen Con was really, really fun when I was running some Tales from Elsewhere. So I was running the Misplaced Priest, and the group walks up to the haunted house, right, that's in this adventure. You know, and I described how like horrible it is and hateful it is and like spooky it is. And one of the player playing Temek Key, or Lady Jane, was like looking at her dynamite bundle like, maybe we just blow up the house, right? Like, maybe not. And I love that because that has happened 2 or 3 times when I've run this session. They walk up to the house and they're like, I don't know, nah, let's just blow it up, kind of initially. And that really, really amused me. So that was one of my favorite moments. Also, I don't think he's in the chat right now, but maybe not. But Nax, who played in one of my sessions and we got to hang out, he's also in Davi's Discord. He was going down like a spooky cellar ladder and he's like, can I slip and fall and sprain my ankle to get luck? And I'm like, you can absolutely. You understood the assignment. See you, Daniel. Thanks for all the support on the stream. Okay, let's see. What else we got here? So that was one of my favorite moments. What is your favorite core resolution mechanic outside of TFE? Oh, D percentile. Super clean D percentile is my favorite outside of TFE. When in doubt, if you're not sure how to build a game, just make it D percentile. Good to go. Done. Core resolution mechanic figured out. It's just so clean. Super, super clean. It's actually not the right answer for every game, but I really like the simplicity of it for roll under. Hard to beat. One of my great pet peeves with D&D is it doesn't provide good opportunities for spellcasters to work together. Okay, this is a really great point. D&D is a game about individuals and their own power, not about a group of people, mechanically speaking. The initiative system favors individual action. The way readying, like, it used to be you could delay your turn without penalty to sync up with players. That's not even the case anymore. So the mechanics of modern D&D work against collaboration. They really do. They're not facilitating team up, like actually working together to accomplish things. You know, they added the like group spellcast checks in that expansion a little while ago, but like even then, it just doesn't feel like people are collaborating together mechanically in the game. You're more like, the closest to that is like you buff the barbarian with haste and let him go nuts. But it doesn't feel like you're working together mechanically to solve problems. You're each just attempting to like do your thing on your turn. And it bothers me a lot. Because the fiction is a group of adventurers working together to overcome monsters, but in reality, mechanically and build-wise, it's mostly a selfish individual game from a mechanic standpoint. Let's see. What else we got here message-wise? Also change the Vancian. So I don't know if changing the Vancian spellcast system would be on my list. I'm not a huge Vancian magic lover. If I would probably change it. I just don't care for Vancian. I don't like it mechanically or thematically, honestly. Let's see. I see Joshua saying, part of the design I'm working with focuses on marshals being good at fighting big monsters and casters being better at hordes. Yeah, exactly. Give them interesting niches. Yeah, so you'd have people having different roles in the party rather than everyone being deal more damage. Yeah, exactly. Like, I like specialization. I think people have moments to shine, and too much of the D&D equation is built around just dealing damage, and so part of my 6th edition would be to more hard code in non-violent challenge. Make that more part of the experience. Still tense and action-paced, but not necessarily just the only solution being to reduce the enemies to 0. The dynamite whispers to you. The voice sounds like a hissing fuse. Yeah. Roll under D percentile like Mothership and Call of Cthulhu and all that. It's just so clean. That's why I like it. What do you think of skill-based games like Call of Cthulhu? Pros and cons. I actually really like those designs. The ease of use of like, you look at your sheet, there's the number you have to roll under. No checking with the GM is very cool. Even if that's not my preferred way. I like GM set challenges that the players then engage with from a numerical standpoint as a personal preference. That's why TFE is built like that. But I actually really think they're cool. In older editions, you weren't a great team precisely because you were scavengers trying to survive and claim wealth and power, and the mechanics will still secretly support. Yeah, exactly. It's just not built with a team in mind, right? Like, Daggerheart is doing more of that. Right, attempting to have the feeling of a team, and some of the like ability cards, the domain cards, even like talk about like heal this person and what's your shared moment together. Like it's at least trying to push you into some of that, which is cool. Who in the TTRPG space have you collaborated with the most? Collaborated the most. It might be Jordan the Elder Goblin at this point, only because I show up on his podcast now a bunch as a filler. I probably like hang out with Scrat a lot. Like I go onto his streams a bunch. I don't do a ton of collabs with others. I'd like to. It's mostly just a time thing. Like I'm a YouTuber second and a game designer first. So like the YouTube channel is honestly like a secondary like mode for me. But lately I've been working a lot with some other folks just because of working on trifolds. I want to work a lot more with Stephanie after like being in a game that she GM'd and after her making a trifold for the game. I'm really digging like her GM philosophy and her design philosophy. So I think that'd be fun to work with more too. But I want to work with more people. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Okay, let's see. But yeah, sadly, I haven't done a ton of collabing. Like Frank and Charles from What is Tabletop, I talk to all the time. And we haven't done a ton of collabs, but they're rad. Interestingly, I think I had recorded this whole episode with Desks and Dorks that I think never got aired. I forget why. It was a long time ago. But Desks and Dorks would be somebody I'd love to collab with more. Agreed. Games like TFE and Nimble really lean into the collaboration where D&D is more individual actions. Yeah. There's a lot of mechanics in TFE that are meant to say you need to work together, right? So in TFE, it's not, hey, we're like a group of friends, let's support each other. It's, oh God, if we don't do something together right now, like Jim is going to get sawed in half, right? Like we need to work together to do so. It's a big part of it. And the mechanics help support the power of that collaboration. Let's see. Moonbeam push mastery was a cool character combo. Yeah, so like we've done like microwave oven builds where like, wall of force and like, moonbeam type stuff. Like some of that's cool, but it's again, the system itself isn't really propping up that structure. I think I disagree a little bit. I think working together in D&D is less about doing something together and more of like in D&D, I think of what you mean. Like you can boost one person and have them be unstoppable, which is different to me than like a collaborative feeling. I see what you're saying about that. Like we've definitely done that where you boost one person. That to me is less like collaborative and more like MMO feeling. I don't know. Like there's subordinate roles then, I guess you could say. Not my preference. Got to run. Fortunato. See you later, buddy. If I were a spellcaster, I still want to yeet out the occasional fireball. Yeah, like I think spellcasters should be able to deal damage, but they should not feel like the most effective manner of doing so. That's my thing. Let's see here. Oops, all collabs. Yeah, I want to work with Misty more on stuff too. We hung out at Gen Con. It was great. Oh yeah, like fire is an overrepresented. Fire is a little overrepresented in Magic use. Are there any games you really prefer to play in versus run? I don't like to run D&D a lot. I like playing it though. I have fun playing D&D. The right table. I prefer to run Tales from Elsewhere over play it, honestly. I made TFE as a system I'd want to GM. I have fun playing it, don't get me wrong. A lot of fun. But TFE is a game system I made for me to GM for others. How would you build collaboration into the game without creating too much crunch? So that would probably be this is a somewhat lengthy discussion, but okay. Here, a really quick example. D&D 5e. We can look at the help action for D&D 5e. One of the main ways you can help somebody in D&D to accomplish something is you help them. You use one of your actions and it grants them advantage on their test, on their skill check, right? That's advantage is powerful, but it's also not unique to getting help in D&D. Like that's not the only way to get advantage. It's actually really easy to get advantage on things. And because advantage doesn't stack, it means helping somebody is often low impact if there's already one of many ways to get advantage on the roll. So accordingly, it's like, it's not really adding much. Advantage makes you more consistent. Advantage doesn't help you accomplish things you couldn't already do, right? So helping somebody, just raw like rules as written, somebody's attempting to climb a wall. I will help them. This gives them advantage. This means that they're more likely to do something they could already potentially do, but it doesn't make them able to complete something they couldn't have done without me. That's philosophically different. In my game, as an example, TFE, helping somebody lowers the target number they need to hit. This makes them able to accomplish something they couldn't do on their own, and stacks with my advantage-disadvantage system called high roll. Just as an example. That inherently makes helping more effective and isn't particularly crunchy. Just as an example. Let's see. Oh, yeah, red caps and Medieval Madness. I know Jeff keeps talking about red caps and Medieval Madness. I will do a lot. There's going to be a lot of collaborating with people for these future books, for sure. So anyway, that's my mini rant about helping. It's how effective is helping, how easy it is to help somebody, and how much helping stacks with other things. That can enhance collaboration. Initiative systems inherently modify how easy it is to collab. So, for example, in earlier editions of D&D, if I rolled really high on initiative, but I really wanted to go after another person in my party, I could delay my turn and move my initiative down. It's not even really very crunchy. You can't do that anymore. And readying is far inferior in D&D because one, readying a spell takes your concentration, which is just horrible. And if you ready an attack, you don't get your multiple attacks when you're level 5 or higher with martial characters. So readying is inferior, and you don't get your full action economy. So the simple fact that you can't delay your turn is anti-collaboration. Anyway, let's see here. Oh yeah, so with Draw Steel, there's a lot of like wombo combo aspect to Draw Steel, from what I hear, which is cool. Let's see here. Yeah, collaborating in D&D. Yeah, you're kind of like stacking effects in D&D that trying to make broken combos. I could see that. I don't think there's a single game I like to play more than I like to GM. I don't always want to do one of them. Yeah, I get you on that. I get you. Yeah, shared initiative is an easy hack. Yeah, like having some way where the players can strategize together to come up with a plan and then enact that without having to jump through a lot of hoops helps a lot for collaboration. You know, sometimes your initiative roll just doesn't like line up with how your party wants to act, and it works against it. Oh yeah, like yeah, if you have a familiar, you get help action on like everything. Yeah, Joshua, having talked down a great spirit in a TFE game because of Peter's helping mechanics allows the whole party to make it possible felt great. Yeah, like you can work together to turn what would be impossible for any one of you individually into something that you can complete just based on the core resolution. But that's part of like the core mechanics of the game is that each individual player is not a one-man army and will be reliant on others because sometimes you get grabbed by a blood oiler and you just simply do not have the skills to get out alone. That's the other half of it, like having threats that challenge a player in such a way that they require help to escape, and then allowing them to have the free-flowing initiative to tackle that together enhances collaboration. Like, this is something in D&D. I'm top of the initiative, but I'm stunned, like wrapped up in plants, and I can't get out. But the player that could get me out goes after me, like cut me free. But because of the initiative, I just don't get a turn because he cut me out after my turn. But if it was more free-flowing initiative, he could cut me free and then I could act, right? That enhances collaboration. I really like Blades in the Dark help mechanics where there is a risk involves... Yeah, like adding some sort of risk is also helpful. For TFE, there isn't risk so much in helping, only because there's so much risk outside of it. Like the helping is to avoid the terrifying risk that comes with like not freeing your friend's leg from the bear trap when the zombies are coming. I think D&D needs spells that will work together between spellcasters. Yeah, like cool ways for spellcasters to pool their powers. Cool. See a Misty. Carl, I did a video on stuns recently. I'm not going to like retread it all, but I really don't like things that make you miss your turn with no interaction. I really don't like it. But there's a video on my YouTube channel that goes into that. Yeah, so like it was in the What's Owed adventure written by Stephanie where there's a threat that's like inhuman rank, right? It's like, or maybe even higher. It might be like legendary rank. Like this threat is too much. And to try talk the threat down would be so difficult. But by helping each other, having the right tool for the job, like the right approach, you can bring that target number down to a point where you can possibly hit it. Yeah, anything where you can get the Action Economy Initiative to get out of the player's way. Well, yeah, that's a really good way to put it. That the Action Economy and Initiative should be facilitating the play of the players, not interfering with it, right? Like, it should be enabling them, and they don't have to like futz with it. Like, let them do the things they want to do. The core resolution or the initiative and turn structure needs to like facilitate that for sure. Oh, hey, thanks, Castles and Corvids. Thank you much. Oh, it's Nax. Oh, hey, buddy. Yeah, I was just talking about you in a good way. You had half your comments dropped. Yeah, YouTube comments aren't always great. And sometimes it's like top comments versus live comments, and it's a little funny. No, I don't think you're getting annoyed. Oh, I have it set to top chat. Maybe if I do live chat, it won't like skip chats or something. But we're probably going to wrap it up here soon, folks. It's been over 2 hours, and I'm getting tired and hungry. I was mentioning, Nax, your use of falling down the ladder into the cellar and like spraining your ankle is to gain luck. That was like chef's kiss. It's good stuff. But yeah, folks, so that was the live stream. We're going to wrap it up here, but thanks everybody for hanging out in the Discord, watching the YouTube videos, hanging out here today, and just being part of the community, and more importantly, like helping support each other, because I know some of you may realize this. There aren't a lot of good places on the internet where like healthy discussion of tabletop role-playing games in a moderately mature way can occur. And we really are trying to keep the TFE Discord server as a place where people can like actually talk shop, be taken seriously, get support. We have our memes and we get silly sometimes, and the moderators are doing such good work in helping maintain this. But like, thanks to everybody who's engaging in that way and like respectfully engaging in the comments. Like, there's a reason why like my YouTube I try not to be like super clickbaity. Like, I'm trying to set the precedent of the type of videos that I'd like. I get a little like spicy in my thumbnails sometimes, but like, I'm not being like D&D is dead again in like my YouTube videos, right? Like, I'm trying to set the precedent in the server and on the YouTube of the type of community I think we should have in the TTRPG space, right? These are games to have fun with. Let's not like be mean to each other about it. Let's like design together and make rad games. So the community here has been incredible. Thank you all so much. It's been so cool. I'm just catching up on comments. Yeah, this is like a really active space. I nearly like fainted when in like some random Reddit thread somebody was pointing out like the great videos to watch, and like I was mentioned among like Seth Skrzykowski and like Ben Milton and like some of these other really good ones. I was like, oh. Yeah, really good stuff. Learned a lot. Oh yeah, that's awesome to hear. Sino like bread. You're working with wounds. Yeah, and Davi is amazing. Another great YouTuber, and even if you're not like doing D&D stuff, like he's just a really good guy. And he's making really high quality content. Yeah, we're hoping that and this culture that we have in the community is going to be really important, because once Clockworld is out there, I'm hoping we get another influx of people looking to engage with this community and play more games and make their own Clockworld or TFE content. And so we want to, like, this community is really strong already with 1,200 people in the server. It's insane and awesome. But all right, y'all. Expect some more. I've been slacking on the Patreon. Sorry, patrons. I'm going to be putting a lot of trifolds up on there and more playtest materials coming soon. Basically, I'm making my plans for my like after work schedule for the next several months, where I'm going to start digging into a lot more products. I hope to have a playtest version of Waste Not, Want Not, my solo horror cooking journaling role-playing game that I'll be putting on the Patreon in rough form for people to print at home and play. So that's going to be interesting. Yeah. All right, folks. Have a good rest of your Sunday. Thanks again so much. And I will catch you all in the Discord, I'm sure. All right, shutting it down here, folks.